You right there guys, this is Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft, and today we're doing a preview of my brand new gun. Now, why do I say preview and not review? Because this arrived yesterday and I'm quite excited to show it off, but I will refuse to call this an actual review because I've not taken it to the field yet. I've not given it a chance to see what it does performance-wise, see if it breaks. So I will be doing an actual review of this at some point, a couple of months down the road, but this is not it. This is just a brief overview of what it is, my initial first impressions, because I'm quite excited to show it off. Quick side note before we jump in as well, we are going to do a limited run of some patches at some point. We've actually sent a design out, and so once I know what they'll be like price-wise and what the final design will look like, I'll post that up on my Facebook page. So if you're interested in actually getting a patch, then have a look at the Facebook page, send us a message on there, show that you're interested, and we'll let you know once they're actually coming in and what they'll be priced at. But in the meantime, let's crack on with the preview of my brand new Echo-1 GAT. Okay then, so let's start by just cracking open the box, having a look at what's side and seeing what comes with it as part of the package. So, first off, fairly decent cardboard box. Loving this packing foam in here. It's in very snug and secure, so definitely no way that it's breaking in transit. And here we go. This is the Echo-1 GAT. Now, it is based upon a Tech 9 machine pistol, but obviously with some modifications, namely the stock and the pistol grip at the top, because on a real steel one, I highly doubt you'll be putting a foregrip on a heat shield. But it is a very tidy little package and includes 2 high-capacity magazines, a battery that comes with it, it's a NIM one, not a LiPo, and a basic wall charger. So this may be a contender for a decent starter gun, or consider, because you do have everything you need here to get started. However, these wall chargers are garbage, they always have been, and NIM batteries in general, I can't remember the last time I used one of these. It must easily be 6-7 years ago. I've been going LiPo ever since. So bit of a strange choice to pick in this day and age, but I suppose NIMs are a lot more safer for transportation purposes. But yeah, potentially a decent starter gun here because you do have everything you need. There's one glaring omission though that I've noticed. Where the hell's the manual? Like, there's nothing that comes with this. It's literally just, okay, you get the gun and the bits, cool. It tells you nothing about it though. Nothing on the edges of the box to say how to operate it, nothing to suggest like how long I need to charge this battery for or maintain the gun. Where's the hop-up unit? Yeah, no sort of manual whatsoever with this, so a bit of a negative point in that in terms of a beginner gun, but let's have a look at the gun itself and decide from there. Okay then, so let's have a look at the Echo-1 GAT itself. Now, as mentioned, this is based upon the design of a Tech 9 machine pistol. What you'd usually see on that one is minus the stock and minus this foregrip and the rail up top. It was literally just a submachine gun machine pistol sort of thing, but for this setup I definitely went with the stock. You can get it stockless, but I really kind of wanted it because when I'm shooting, it's good to have a stock just to brace against your shoulder. It just means that your shots are a lot more steady and it doesn't really add anything weight-wise or bulk-wise to it. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for me to do that. The foregrip up top is something of a necessity because this is actually where the battery compartment is, all into the entirety of here. It's held in place with this nut here that you can easily just twist with your thumb on and off. You don't need tools for that, and it is very, very secure in there. And it's actually quite spacious. Like I can fit the obviously the NIM battery that's included, but also the LiPo that I've been using in my TM High Cycle P90 and the G3 that I've been using. That goes in there. So the end game plan for me for this is to wire this out to Dean's instead of the Tamiya connectors that's there, and use those LiPo batteries to get the rate of fire up and also increase the battery life somewhat. But yeah, it's definitely not a pretty gun. Like a lot of people I imagine would be put off this by how it looks. Like, I quite like it just because it's so unique, it's different. Like, I have never seen one of these on a UK airsoft field. Like, Echo-1 in general is just not a particular brand that you hear crop up in the UK that often. Like, I think a lot of their products tend to get licensed under Umarex over here, but I wouldn't quote me on that. I'm not 100% certain on that one. But yeah, I've never seen their products over here before, so when I saw this one, and nobody else really makes it. I know Red Wolf do a version of the Tech 9, but that's super expensive, so no thank you. But yeah, I just wanted this. I've been missing a dedicated CQB gun in my loadouts. Like, the G3's a good all-rounder, but it's a bit too big, a bit too bulky. This is just a lovely, tight little package. Like, what really attracted me to this it's just so simple. It's so small, it's so minimalist. There is nothing extra on this package that doesn't need to be there. So that's very much why I was drawn to it. But let's have a quick of a detailed overview of some of the externals. Okay then, so we'll start the front of the gun and work our way down. So first off, this little tip here. This is not a 14mm threaded thing like I was kind of hoping it is. This is very much fixed in place here. There's a pin on this side that's locking the thing in place there. So there's nothing under that. So don't go removing that. You won't find any goodies underneath. So no chance of adding suppressors to this, unfortunately, which is a bit of a pain. Going down, obviously we have the foregrip, which is the battery compartment. It is very big and chunky. You can fit quite a sizable battery in there. And even though it is fairly oversized for a foregrip, it is still somewhat comfy. Like, it's a bit basic on the exterior lines. It doesn't mold to your hand particularly well, but as a vertical foregrip, it's actually somewhat surprisingly comfortable. Going up the top, we have a tiny Picatinny rail just here, literally for just a red dot. Like, I don't think you're going to be fitting anything else onto there. I should note as well that when you take this foregrip off, it reveals another Picatinny rail underneath. So if there was some way to either wire this to the rear in the stock, or maybe try and fit the battery down the heat shield, like, then potentially you could run this without the foregrip. So I may have to dig into that and have some research on that and just have a proper look. But yeah, so foregrips top and bottom. You do have some iron sights, but they're of a pistol type. Now it's very apparent that this was designed originally to not have the stock and just be the front with the foregrip and that's it. And so you're supposed to hold it like a pistol almost and just bring it up to eye level like this, because that's the only way you're actually looking down these iron sights. When you shoulder it and try to look, you literally can't get your face low enough to look at this rear iron sight. So yeah, a bit more care and attention would have done with that. Like, if you could just raise them slightly when you put the stocked version on. I mean, you're changing it anyway to add a stock. You might as well just update the rest while you're at it. So yeah, these iron sights, absolutely garbage with this one with the stock. You can't use them. And looking at them, to be honest, even with the stockless one, I don't imagine they'd be that great anyway. It's not a great sight picture it's giving you, because it's just a flat line underneath it. Yeah. Definitely going to be putting a red dot on this. I'm not sure how it's going to look. I imagine it won't be the prettiest sighting solution in the world, but we'll put this on. They'll put the red dot on in a bit and have a look at that. Going back here is the charging handle. So it is spring-loaded, and you can lock it down or lock it up. So I imagine you could actually HK slap this thing, but that sounds like very tinny pop metal on here, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want to end up breaking my thing. But if we lock it back and look onto the other side, the hop-up is this little lever here. Now, it wasn't very apparent that that's what it was, because it is quite tucked away in there, but when you pull this back, you can feel the notches of the hop-up on there, so it does feel like you could securely adjust that. It's just not very apparent that that is the hop-up on first glance, so that might confuse a lot of people when they first get it. Well, hey-ho. So, close that down. Next, we have two sling mount points here. So how I do intend to be running this when I'm not using it as a dedicated CQB gun is I'll have a sling on here, have it on my side as a backup from a sniper rifle, because I think it would be ideal for that, and having the two sling mounts would be perfect as a solution for that. We have the fire selector just here. Now you've got safe, fully automatic and semi-auto fire modes. I have fired into a shoe with it briefly, and obviously with a NIM battery the rate of fire is not particularly great. But hopefully once we deans it and get a LiPo in there, that'll be improved. But it's serviceable. Going to the mags then. As I mentioned, you get two high capacity mags included with it. They're very much reminded me of UMP mags or straight MP5 ones from when the MP5 was first designed before it had that curve. And you've got a similar sort of winding wheel on the bottom to MP5 mags. So I imagine I'm going to be winding these for days and days and days. But they fit in quite snugly. Not much complaints with that, quite secure, no wobble on it, and the mag release actually is this little lever underneath, and it's quite crisp actually. I do like that. Obviously it's ambidextrous because it's in the middle, but it requires no effort once you hit it to actually release the mags, but yeah, I don't imagine that's going anywhere. Going back to the pistol grip, obviously I've not had much trigger time in here, so I can't really comment on that just yet with any sort of confidence. But one thing I'm noticing already with the pistol grip is it's not hugely comfy. It is a very basic plastic, well I say plastic, this is polymer on the underside of here. You've got some metal on the top and on the rails, but the receiver, the front grip, the pistol grip and the stock are all polymer. and this polymer's not particularly comfy. Like, I imagine if I was using this for extended length of time, the inside of my thumb is going to start to get a little bit sore using this, but it's basic, it serves its purpose. Could be better, but not terrible. Then finally at the back we have the adjustable stock. So it is adjustable by pressing this button down here. You can extend it and retract it. Obviously if you want the tightest setup possible you can keep it loose, but if that is uncomfortable for you, you can extend it out to a fairly decent way. One thing I've noticed, even though I've not actually taken this to a field yet, I have noticed this is an uncomfortable stock. It's a hard, like plastic polymer finish on the end of it. There's no rubberization on this, and it's got these very weird cutouts around the exterior of it, and a weird potato masher thing right in the middle. And obviously that's for grip, but rubber would be better, because as it is, since it's a hard polymer, it's not seating hugely securely in there, and if you press it against here for any length of time, I imagine this is going to get very uncomfortable after a certain length of time. So not a huge fan of that stock, unfortunately, but hey ho, we'll have to see how we go once we take it to an actual airsoft field. So just to vary up the visuals, I've taken off the front foregrip and actually just bolted a little red dot on the front, and oh boy does that red dot look goofy. I mean, it was never a pretty gun to begin with, but yeah, that is just a very strange place for a red dot sight. Like when you do shoulder it, it's actually okay because you do get a decent sight picture with it, but there's not really anywhere else you could have put it. Like, you couldn't have put it here because you might have interfered with the charging handle, and if you did put it there, it'd probably be a bit too close to your face when you sighted it down, so there was really nowhere else it could have gone. And when you do look at it, yeah, you've got a good sight picture on there. It just, from when you look at it from a distance, you think, okay, bit strange, but hey, I went for this gun for the function factor, not the form. But speaking of that as well, since I've taken off the foregrip, you can see the Tamiya lead just down here that's hanging low. Potentially you could wire this inside all the stock. I've not had a proper look to see, but just to show that yes, there is another Picatinny rail under there, so that could be an option for a laser mount if you manage to wire it to somewhere else. So yeah, this is my exterior initial impressions of the Echo-1 GAT. It's very, very different. Now, as I mentioned, I've never seen one of these on an airsoft field in the UK before, so they probably do exist out there, but I've never come across someone else with one yet. So definitely up there with the unique factor, but with a styling choice that is definitely not to everyone's taste. And I've already noticed a couple of little niggles with the design in terms of comfort. So it'll be very interesting to see what my thoughts are performance-wise and how it actually does on the airsoft field. As mentioned, I will be doing the full review a couple of months down the line once we've actually got the gaming time in here and just see if it breaks or not. But in the meantime, this has been the preview of the Echo-1 GAT, and I've been Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft.